It is Friday, January the 20th, 2023. Good morning. I'm Pearson Bowen, and this is the CBC Morning Report. The health crisis facing Barbados children must be addressed with a school nutrition policy to curb the level of obesity and other non-communicable diseases. The Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition believes it is now critical to take the policy from paper to full-blown practice in all the schools. CBC News spoke with the chairperson of the coalition, Dr. Kia Lewis, about the matter.
One of the things that the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition is advocating for would be full implementation. We want to know that it is not only implemented, but it is well monitored and tracked, so that the necessary results from such a policy, that we are able to tell if we are seeing those, if we need to make changes, things like that.
And in order to help with the monitoring, the coalition is willing to help across the school system.
The Ministry of Education, I believe they would have a number of ways to track. But what we have done as HSFB, Heart and Stroke Foundation Barbados, is that we actually created and provided them with a tracking app. This app allows volunteers, these are persons who will be very specifically selected, to go into the schools and to monitor what is happening on the ground. Whether this is the vendors on the outside, the canteen concessionaires, whether this is students selling to each other or teachers selling to students, just so we know how it is being implemented, how effective it is, and like I said, where we need to make changes and tweaks. I think that's a very important part of the implementation.
Dr. Lewis says she wants to make it clear that it is not the intention of her organization to put vendors out of work.
One of the first things that we have to make abundantly clear is that that was never our intention. The vendors and the canteen concessionaires, they have been at the center of the process all along. For a number of years now, we have offered a free vendors and canteen concessionaires workshop. In this workshop, we have had persons within the medical field, dietitians, nutritionists, doctors, various persons have come together to give the vendors and the canteen concessionaires information on how they can go about making the switch to healthier alternatives. Yeah? It has not been well attended, but for those who have attended, they have significantly benefited. We've gotten really good feedback. Some of them have implemented these changes, and the children have accepted a number of these changes. We've also been able to discuss with them where the difficulties are, and so this article doesn't necessarily surprise us because we know that vendors have raised these concerns before, but because of the structure of the workshop, I believe we've been able to quell some of those fears and, like I said, lend assistance in that transition.
The medical practitioner pointed out that what they need is for the school vendors and canteen operators to be a part of the training offered.
We are offering support. What we need is for the vendors and the canteen concessionaires to accept that support. We are going to be doing workshops as the year progresses, and so we want persons to stay tuned to the Heart and Stroke Foundation Barbados Facebook and Instagram pages so that they can see when these workshops are, being advertised. We are also hoping that the Ministry of Education, because we're working very closely with them, that they will make the information more readily available to the vendors. So getting it out there so that people actually are participating. Because like I said, we want them to be successful in their business. But at the heart of our mission is to protect our children.
Dr. Lewis emphasized that the obesity concern among the island's youth is very concerning, and there were also other health challenges associated with poor diets.
80% of persons in Barbados pass away from NCDs. And, we hear a lot about how, the older people, they ate the sugar cakes and the tamarind balls, but because they ran around, nothing went wrong. And we can never discount the importance of physical activity. That is at the core, one of the things that's at the core of what we advocate for. But at the end of the day, we want people to understand that the aging population in Barbados is also very sick. This is not just a problem with our children. A couple years ago, the statistics showed that 50% of Barbadians over the age of 65 were diagnosed with diabetes. That is staggering. 1 in 3 persons is diagnosed with high blood pressure in this island. And as we look, and these are the same people that ate all of the things that we talked about and were physically active. We now have a generation of children who are being raised on processed foods and drinks, high in sugar, high in fat, high in salt. They are not physically active, and so the health issues are further compounded. And we are seeing these kind of conditions, diabetes and high blood pressure and kidney disease, that were once thought to be old age diseases, being diagnosed in younger and younger ages, even within our pediatric population.
This is the CBC Morning Report. We're back in just a moment.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett says his government will review measures and embark on new actions to ensure total peace in the country.
Unfortunately, our island has seen some tragic domestic and public incidents in recent times, which has put focus on the peace and security of the nation. These incidents highlight the fragility of a democratic society, where members of society have to observe decency and respect in dealing with each other. Especially with this emerging period of Carnival, where our communities are coming together to enjoy this unique festival, there might be a few who may be inclined to use this period of revelry for acts of violence and to otherwise instill a level of fear in the society. Let me say to all, we shall have a zero tolerance for any decadent behavior in our country. In this context, the Dominica Police Force will show zero tolerance to acts of violence related to events surrounding Carnival as a signature event on island. In turn, any event or band which cannot maintain an atmosphere of peace and civility will be stopped, curtailed where there is, and stopped and curtailed where there is tangible threat to any citizen on our island. Organizers of all events are compelled to ensure security for events is in place and that patrons are secure. Anyone found with unlicensed firearms or any weaponry deemed unsafe or dangerous will have them confiscated and will be detained under the laws of the Commonwealth of Dominica where applicable.
In Guyana, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Dharamlal, says the new funds made available in the budget to the Guyana Elections Commission will allow the country to hold local government elections this year. 5.2 billion was provided in the 2023 national budget presented by Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh.
Local government elections, we had planned it quite a while. It has been on the agenda of President Ali to ensure that local democracy obtains, and we have been working seriously over the last few years to ensure we get to a point where local government elections could be held. With the type of budget that we have, naturally you're going to find a lot of spending in communities, and hopefully that will augur well for local democracy, irrespective of which council is elected. And so I believe that a lot of work will be done in communities, and it all augurs well for the people of the country.
Were funds made available to host local government elections this year?
Yes, funds have been made available this year, as they've been made last year as well.
The increasing number of illegal weapons in Grenada is a major concern to that government. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell says they'll adopt a zero-tolerance approach.
I want us to understand that our islands are under constant threat from the importation of small firearms in particular. They are coming in barrels, they are coming in containers, and don't be fooled. We are probably the last bastion of little or no gun violence in the region, for granted. I know firearms are also seen as sport. There are ranges, people go shoot the guns in the range and then go. But the idea that we should be walking around with firearms, in my view, is inimical to our culture, to our way of life.
A former U.S. Navy operative who was charged on both occasions and is due in court in February had 2 containers containing firearms and ammo confiscated recently at the St. George's port. Prime Minister Mitchell recalls that the last time Grenada had a surplus of weapons, things did not turn out well for the country.
And for good measure, the last time we had a lot of firearms in Grenada, you all know what happened on the 19th of October, 1983. So I don't think we need another clear example why we should leave firearms for police officers only, and in my view the security apparatus, unless you can demonstrate an exceptional need to have one.
Israeli forces have shot and killed 2 Palestinians during a raid in the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank. Their deaths take the number of Palestinians killed by Israeli forces this month to 17. Al Jazeera's Imran Khan has more.
In the early hours, Israeli special forces backed by the army carried out a raid in Jenin refugee camp. The firefight was intense. One Palestinian fighter, 25-year-old Adam Jabreen, was killed. Another man, unarmed and not a fighter, was also shot dead. 57-year-old Jawad Farid Bawakane was a teacher at a local school. His son describes what happened.
Israeli special forces entered the camp at 2:30 a.m. They stormed the building. Adham was standing here. They shot him. We were dragging him away. He was calling for help. Ours is the closest house. How could we leave him? I opened the door. My father and we dragged him in. They shot at my father. My father went out to help a wounded man who was screaming for help.
These almost nightly raids across the occupied West Bank have killed 17 Palestinians this year. In Jenin refugee camp, many of the residents are people who were forced from their homes when Israel created its state in 1948. Young people who have never seen their ancestral homes. Frustrated by the lack of any kind of peace process, many of those young men are now becoming increasingly hardened. A recent opinion poll suggests 59% of Palestinian respondents supported an armed struggle against the occupation.
We haven't seen such support for an armed intifada since the last one. It's mainly due to the Israeli policies in the occupied West Bank, increased settlements, killings and raids on a daily basis, the latest Israeli elections and calls to expel all Palestinians.
Israel shows no signs of stopping or even reducing raids like these, and this far-right government is openly hostile to all Palestinians, a combination that has led to violence in the past. This mural commemorates the armed intifada, the armed struggle in the year 2000. Now, many here say another reckoning with Israel is coming. The only question is what shape that will take, and that question is being asked with ever more increasing frequency.
The school district where a teacher was allegedly shot by a 6-year-old student earlier this month held its first board meeting on Tuesday. Parents turned out to make their voices heard, and they weren't happy.
I send my kids to school and find myself praying to God that they will return home safely.
Emotional, furious parents vent at school officials in Newport News, Virginia, at the first school board meeting since a 6-year-old boy shot and wounded his first-grade teacher in the classroom.
Don't want to have a family dinner where I talk about where my kids will hide in their school.
One woman said her daughter was in the classroom at Rich Neck Elementary School when teacher Abby Werner was shot.
She's 6. She's terrified because the person that was advocating for her got hurt. She got hurt.
She blamed school officials for failing to prevent the shooting. Before the shooting, a school employee had searched the boy's backpack based on a tip, but found no gun.
You guys should have been defending and protect her when she came, or whoever came and said that there was a possible weapon in that child's backpack or otherwise.
Parents expressing anger that this was the 3rd school shooting in the Newport News School District since September of 2021, with 1 fatality. One parent issuing a warning.
Enough is enough. What will it take? I pray it is not a 4th shooting, because that blood will be on your hands.
One parent said trust in Newport News school officials has been lost at all levels. Parents and teachers said in the Newport News District, many students who disrespect teachers and engage in violence face no consequences. And school officials are accused of downplaying or ignoring disciplinary incidents for favorable statistics.
Ask any teacher in this school division why discipline incidents declined, and I have a feeling the response will be the same. Infraction numbers are down because incidents are not always officially reported.
Some at the meeting called for Newport News School Superintendent George Parker and the entire school board to resign. School officials say they're responding to the shooting by installing metal detectors at all elementary schools in Newport News. And they're considering a rule to require students to bring only transparent backpacks to school. One school security expert calls that security theater.
The number one way we find out about weapons in schools is not from a metal detector, but from a kid who comes forward and tells an adult that they trust. It's about relationships.
Well, coming up at 6:30, when you join me for Morning Barbados, we meet a man, a Barbadian who is living in Geneva, who is passionate about global relief. Who is he and what is that about? As we continue to mark Drug Awareness Month, the National Council on Substance Abuse is engaged in a food and give back drive. The manager of the National Council on Substance Abuse joins us this morning to talk more about that and further efforts. And Crochet for a Cause. What is that about and how can it really truly help the cause? We'll share with you in just a little while when you join me at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. This is the CBC Morning Report. We're back in just a moment.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Barbadians are being reminded that government remains committed to supporting tertiary education for students at the KFIL campus. That's the message from Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley in her salute to the University of the West Indies at their launch of the 60th anniversary celebrations.
This government has committed itself to ensuring that our students can continue to access your benefits at the KFIL campus because we see that as that platform to their individual prosperity, to our national development, to Caribbean civilization, and ultimately to humanizing the globe in which we live.
The focus for the UWI Cave campus, according to the Prime Minister, needs to be creating global citizens to help solve issues facing Barbados, the region and the world.
We live in a world now where what is required of us is going to be even greater partnership and collaboration to fight the battles of the world, not just the battles of Barbados or the Caribbean. And it therefore means that we need to produce our students to be able to truly be global citizens with Bajan or Caribbean roots, as we've explained, recognizing that it is only in partnership with others elsewhere in the world, in pursuit of scholarship, in pursuit of knowledge, in pursuit of a humanizing influence, in pursuit of being a disruptor to be able to do better that which we were doing before. It is only against that backdrop that the University of the West Indies will remain that vital body, especially with Cave Hill as one of the campuses.
Barbados has developed a marine spatial plan that is mindful of those using the space and the need to ensure it is protected for all. Wendy Burke reports.
The launch was done in collaboration with the Coastal Zone Management Unit, the Inter-American Development Bank and the Nature Conservancy. According to Minister Kerry Simmons, the treatment of the island's marine space will also be corrected in terms of how it was managed. He believes the process has to be consultative to ensure that the areas of marine space do not later down create issues.
There will be issues of access, concerns raised about access to those spaces. There will be issues of uncertainty with respect to access to those spaces. And worse yet, there will be conflict with respect to access to those areas. And we want to avoid all of those things. So I say this, and I am dedicating this to the members of the media who I want to be able to easily digest and, as I say, masticate on this issue. Because before we invite on ourselves unnecessary conflict, we have to make sure that we have an approach that allows for resolution.
The minister responsible for the blue economy, Adrian Ford, says the action plan for Barbados clearly highlights the opportunities of economic development for Barbados. He pointed out how it is being worked on.
Barbados Marine Spatial Plan will extend to the 200 nautical miles of our exclusive economic zone boundary. The government has established an MSP, which is the Marine Spatial Plan, steering committee that has been approved by our cabinet, as well as a comprehensive stakeholder advisory committee, of which many of you in attendance are a part of. There will be a Marine Spatial Plan project unit established whose responsibility will be to ensure the successful implementation of the project.
The IDB has played a major role in the activation of the project, and Viviana Alva Hart, country representative for the IDB Group Barbados, says oceans are a major part of the link between biodiversity and climate resilience.
Right now, human activities are undermining the ocean's biodiversity and climate mitigation benefits, which are crucial to solve the climate crisis. Making sure that the global biodiversity remains rich and brings benefits to everyone will require balancing current inequalities and strengthening the work being done by island states.
Another partner is the Nature Conservancy, and Executive Director of the Caribbean Division, Robert Brumbaugh, explained their hopes and intentions for the Marine Spatial Plan.
This is why TNC was so proud to partner with Barbados and the Inter-American Development Bank on the blue bond that unlocks the resources to propel us forward for the next 5 years and beyond in the management and conservation work that is in front of us.
Several other partners will be part of the consultative process going forward. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Thank you, Wendy. Primary school students and athletes are engaged in their school's track and field competitions, all gearing up for Knapsack 2023. Anne-Marie Burke reports.
To coin the tagline of the organizers, Knapsack is back.
The National Primary Schools Athletics Championship 2023 will mark the return of its usual format of individual races and field events, after last year being a relay-only competition. And it gets going with the zonal meets, starting on February 6th.
On the 6th, we will have the Rubis Caribbean Andrea Blackett Zone. On the 7th, the Holiday Bermudas James Wedderburn Zone. On the 8th, the Anton Norris Zone. On the 9th, the Roma Pasta Marcia Trotman Zone. On the 13th, the Nation Publishing Patsy Calendar Zone. The 14th will be the Obadali Thompson Zone. The 15th, the Sunshine Cereals Ryan Braffett Zone. And on the 16th, the Wabisco Frida Nichols Zone. With this first opportunity to see the experience of the 8-zone format, we believe it will deliver a new and fresh dynamic and will set the tone for coming years. I wish for the principals, teachers, students, parents, supporters, potential sponsors, and all other persons to encourage the athletes on their journey. NAPSAC plays a pivotal role in nurturing and developing sporting excellence. Yes, everyone wants to win, and everyone loves a winner. But allow the children to fully enjoy the experience and speak words of encouragement in all their interactions throughout the season.
The athletes will be competing in the age categories of under 7, under 9, under 11, and under 13, with 4 events in the open category, those being the high jump, medley relay, 600 and 800 meters. Chevette Restaurants and its partner company Frosty's Ice Cream for a second year are title sponsors. And Managing Director Ryan Halut, while addressing the official launch at his company's headquarters in Lares, says being a part of NAPSAC is something his company truly values.
Our commitment to continue to develop our youth. One of our founding philosophers or founding philosophies that was handed down to us as the second generation running this group of companies was always to give back to our local communities and promote active lifestyles, meaning that we're encouraging our customers and especially kids to be more active out there, not only in sports but social activities and clubs, etc., and really have a more balanced lifestyle.
85 primary schools are registered to compete, including 12 private schools, with the semi-finals scheduled for March 2nd and the finals on March 10th, all at the Usain Bolt complex. The special needs athletes will also have an event when the Special Needs Awareness Walk Rock Your Socks event is set for March the 21st. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Let's take a look at forecast conditions now as recorded earlier at the Met Office, the Grantley Adams International Airport. What's in the weather for today? At the moment, Barbados 24.6 degrees Celsius under cloudy conditions. The winds are coming beautifully out of the east at 34 kilometers an hour. Expect this morning a low tide at 7 minutes after 8 o'clock with a second low tide for the day at 16 past 9 tonight, and a high tide scheduled for around 1:15 this afternoon. Seas today are moderate in open water with northeasterly swells ranging from 2 to 2.5 meters and steady. That caution still for small craft operators and sea bathers. In Barbados today, a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief scattered light showers. And while tonight it will be partly cloudy with a few brief isolated light showers. And now we'll look at some forecast conditions for some international cities. And that's it for today's edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Pearson Bowen. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Howdy do, everybody. Good morning to you indeed. Welcome to today. Today is Friday, January the 20th, 2023. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming all of you everywhere. Thank you so much for waking up bright and early to keep us company here at Morning Barbados. Thanks for you as well watching us on our streams on YouTube and Facebook. Have yourselves a great day. We're looking forward to spending some wonderful moments with you. Now, coming up today, I will have that chance for you to unscramble some letters. I guarantee you today. I know I make these promises and then we don't necessarily always deliver, but we shall today. You better believe it. So stand by for that. This morning also, we'll meet a man by the name of Sheldon Thomas, who's founded something known as the Gangs Line. What is that about? He'll talk about his story and he'll also tell you what that program is also about. The call goes out to many of you today to join in cleaning up Barbados, and so we'll be joined by some folks who will talk to us about the planned activities in March and how we can begin to gear ourselves up to be a part of it. Crochet for a cause. I know you're just thinking of people just sitting and, as I say, knit. But what is the cause and how can that activity alone really help the cause? They'll talk to us a little bit about that activity coming up soon. As part of Drug Awareness Month, the National Council on Substance Abuse continues its efforts to not just raise awareness, but to engage all of us in giving back. So they're engaged in a food drive and we want to hear more about how we can all play our part. But let's get started this morning by meeting a man, a Bajan man out of Geneva, who's doing phenomenal work in the spaces that he provides that activity. His name is Nicholas Campbell. He is for us one of those Bajans afar. Nicholas, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm doing well. What a bright smile to start our Friday off indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Because what you do makes a big difference to the world. You are actually one of those people who is a senior treasury in the Treasury Officer, providing international support in the International Federation of the Red Cross. What was it about that organization, the International Federation of the Red Cross, that got you involved in the first place?
Well, actually, almost 32 years ago, I was working at an American Midwestern bank, and I saw this ad in the papers, and they were looking for someone in a financial role in treasury operations at the International Federation of the Red Cross. And I thought, you know, that would be a very, very good opportunity for me as well to work in a sort of multinational organization. I also like its principles and everything, and I applied for this position. And fortunately for me, I was interviewed and subsequently hired. And well, the rest is history.
Yes.
I've been at the IFRC for the past 32 years, almost 33.
That's like a lifetime in the minds of a lot of people. But the Red Cross provides such phenomenal support globally, and at the same time, you hear those harrowing stories where you just have to reach to give. How do you manage the emotions around those tragedies when they do occur?
Well, I mean, you must have a bit of empathy, you know, as long as you're in this organization and this field, the humanitarian field. But our purpose is definitely to respond to natural disasters and to ensure that we help as many people as possible. So that is very rewarding itself. There's always going to be natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, so to speak. So, you know, we feel empowered in a way and privileged to be able to respond to help so many people worldwide. Because it's not just confined to one continent. It's you know, it's all over. There's always something going on, flooding, epidemics, and so forth.
Indeed. What a global support that you give. But you're a man from Barbados who's been living outside of Barbados now for over 40 years. Talk to me a little bit about this journey off our rock. When did it start, and what was it that propelled you to leave the island in the first place?
Well, in actual fact, I was schooled at Lodge School, and after I was very interested in the hotel industry, and I did my internship at the Hilton Hotel at the time, and I met the manager of food and beverage, an Englishman called John Lake, and he encouraged me to further my education in the hotel field. And he actually provided me a couple of addresses to very reputable universities in England. And I sort of spoke to my dad and told him, you know, how excited and I really wanted to go and study abroad, you know, also to widen my horizons. And he encouraged me as well and backed me. And I went to Bournemouth University in England, and I started to study. And my intention was obviously to come back to play a part in the hotel industry in Barbados, which I did. I came back and I worked at Paradise Hotel at the time, and also at Marriott. And then I decided to want to seek further horizons, and I ended up in Switzerland. And I was working for Intercontinental in Switzerland when I first started. And the rest is history. It went on from there.
What a beautiful life you've lived so far, I'm telling you. You haven't lived in London, in Italy, in Switzerland. You're fluent in French. So talk to me a little bit about finding yourself in all of those spaces, and as a little Barbadian boy from the Lodge School, how did you manage, you know, to keep yourself grounded and to also at the same time push forward to be recognized? What was it like for you?
It was definitely challenging because, I mean, initially, obviously, you had to learn French, which was, for me, no mean feat. I had always studied French, you know, up to O level at Lodge School. However, in terms of fluency, it was non-existent. Well, I got myself immersed in French. I did some courses, and also you went towards different people wherever in shops, and you sort of tried to listen to get an ear for French, and eventually you started speaking with people, and bit by bit you become fluent. And that's how it started. But you do have to surround yourself with French-speaking people. Otherwise, you know, if you stick to a sort of Anglo crowd, well then, you know, your French will never improve.
As we say here, you're out to sea. You're going to be left out to sea for sure. But you know, it is so important though to surround oneself with people of like mind as well, because you are a Barbadian at the core of who you are, and you know, you're operating within a circle of people in those foreign climes whose culture is different from yours. So how did you maintain the Barbadian culture within that context?
Well, when I first came to Switzerland, there were very few Barbadians, and we always got together and sort of, you know, enjoyed each other's company and spoke about Barbados and how much fun we were having when we were growing up and so forth. So that part of us, we retain it forever, you know. I mean, there will always be that emotional attachment to Barbados, despite the fact that we've left home for so many years. I mean, I still go on the Nation website on a daily basis just to keep abreast of what's going on, and I'm very proud of Barbados. I don't know if you know, but Macy Welsh's son, Peter Welsh, is he is over here in Geneva as well. So, you know, we used to meet up and go out together and sort of encourage each other on a professional, on a private level.
Well, that's good. At least you have some like minds where you are, because sometimes you can feel as though you're that one needle in the haystack and you just can't find anyone who looks like you. So fortunately, you've been able to, you know what I mean? So you're lucky to have had the opportunity to meet some people who you know. What is it about Barbados from where you are now? What is it about Barbados that you tell others about who we are?
Oh, I mean, I am always praising Barbados. I mean, we are a microcosm, a very, very small country. However, I think we do punch above our weight, and I'm very praiseworthy of Barbados, you know, always. I mean, I think Barbados is an absolutely fantastic country. And we have a very good educational system. We're very democratic, we have good leadership and so forth, and wonderful beaches. And I always encourage people whenever to go to Barbados if they want a quality holiday and to find some fine white grain sand and languid beaches and that sort of thing. And of course, you know, a couple of rums.
Yes, indeed. But you know, sometimes when you're out of Barbados, you're spending significant moments out of Barbados. You look back and you say for a second, you know, I wish Barbados could be. And if you had those thoughts at all, what are some of the things you think we can do better, or we should at this stage be doing better?
I think in terms of the transportation, I would like to, you know, the infrastructure. I think you need to pay a bit more attention in terms of the roads and the maintenance of the roads and so forth. I do recognize that, you know, it's very expensive and we've had lots of challenges in the past couple of years with COVID and so forth. However, water shortages as well, you know, burst mains and that sort of thing. And it's just the ongoing maintenance, you know, because I mean, already we are a water challenge. However, if you're losing water through the pipes, through to corrosion or whatever, I think more attention should be paid to that sort of maintenance in the infrastructure. I think that would go a long way to alleviate some of the difficulties people experience.
All right. When were you last home in Barbados?
Oh, I haven't been home now for quite some time. Unfortunately, it was when my father passed away. But since then, I have been, you know, in Switzerland but I do travel a lot to other European countries. So my next plan as well is to definitely come home and relax and enjoy the surroundings and friends and so forth.
You know, I wish we had the wherewithal to say to you, just turn around, there's an airline ticket for you, but that's not possible, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Huh?
It would have been nice to shock you in that kind of way. But if you were to come home now, this very minute, and you landed on Barbados, where's the first place you'd like to go?
Definitely to the beach. That's for sure.
Which beach? Any particular beach that you prefer?
St. Lawrence. I love that beach.
Okay.
Yeah. And absolutely adore that beach.
Nice. And
although when I was growing up, I used to go to the Pebbles with my dad.
Yeah.
And I used to look forward to that every Sunday. So it was really lovely, you know.
The beach experience is one you want to have again. And what would be that?
Definitely.
What would be that one food that you say, you know what, as soon as I land, I'm eating? What would that be?
Oh, definitely flying fish.
Good man.
That's for sure.
You're truly a Barbadian. We had to test you. Yes, you're truly a Barbadian at heart still, nonetheless doing what you do. And you make us so proud because it's good to know that we have a senior Treasury officer located right there in the International Federation of the Red Cross, providing global relief to so many. But you're doing it from a heart that was born here in Barbados, indeed. And where's your family from in Barbados? What parish?
Welch's Terrace.
In Welch's Terrace, St. Michael?
Yes, definitely.
I hope they're up.
St. Michael, yeah.
I hope they're up. I hope they're watching. I hope they're so hugely proud of you. And now they're seeing the smile on the cameras and our screens as well. So, Nicholas, I want to thank you so very much. It's so wonderful meeting you, Nicholas Campbell. Thank you so much as a Barbadian for flying the flag.
And thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Fantastic experience for me.
Good man. I'm glad you had fun too. Thank you too. Take care. Nicholas Campbell is his name. He's a Barbadian living in Geneva. As a matter of fact, very fluent in French. And he's been living in London, Italy, Switzerland. He is the senior Treasury officer with the International Federation of the Red Cross, but a good guy from the Lord School and from Welch's Terrace in St. Michael as well. So now you know there's a Bajan everywhere. If you have a Barbadian somewhere and you know it's a relative of yours, a friend, somebody who you know you want to recommend to us, please do. Send us an email to Mornin Barbados. Mornin Barbados. There it is on your screen. Look at the email address. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. We'd love to connect with them wherever they are. Mornin Barbados takes a break right here. We're coming back with more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Book open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 13 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock here this Friday morning. The work of the Barbados National Council on Substance Abuse continues. And the month's theme this month as Drug Awareness Month is Our Workplace, Our Future, Our Future, Our Workplace. And you get it once you stop to think for just a moment of those four words. Our workplace, our future, our workplace. Joining us now as we continue to look at that and the ongoing work of the National Council on Substance Abuse is its manager, Betty Hunt. Ms. Hunt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming with us indeed. Every Friday we've been connecting with you as we celebrate with you Drug Awareness Month. And you know that sounds a little odd to say celebrate in Drug Awareness Month, but the work is so significant. The work that your organization does is so significant. We want firstly to salute you on the continuing efforts to bring awareness, but also to bring action within our community and our work spaces as well. So thank you very much for the work you and your officers do.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your words of support.
You're very welcome. But there's a lot that still has to happen, you know. I know this month you're tackling drug awareness within the workplace in particular, and how we should be able to spot the signs and what kinds of policies and procedures we need to put in place to be able to assist those who are struggling with the abuse of drugs. How has it been so far the month and in trying to get that message out to workspaces?
Well, so far the month has been hectic. It usually is, but we are prepared. What we have found is that still the message of drug abuse in the workplace is still treated in the traditional way. So what we have been using the month to do is try to educate not only employers, but also employees. And as our theme suggests, we are trying to get into schools and spaces where there are young people to help them prepare and to tell them of the challenges that may be caused as a result of drug abuse. In terms of reaching the employers and those who are already employed, we're trying to show how drug abuse can impact in various ways in the workplace, both at the individual level and how that can scale up to impact the company, the organization, the agency. So that is what we have been focusing on during this month.
I know that many organizations have health and safety committees, and they would think automatically it falls under that umbrella. But unless the policies are there to be able to support that particular position, you know, it's not necessarily going to be done. How is the organization, the National Council on Substance Abuse, aiding employers and employees, to move to the point of drafting the policy, putting in place those frameworks so that you are effectively able to help those within your workplace who are struggling with drug abuse?
Well, what is surprising is that even though we found that quite a few workplaces are making the effort to incorporate a lot of the newer practices and bits of the newer legislation into workplace policies, there is not an explicit reference to drug abuse. And we understand this. It is still not covered in the way we would like it to be covered by insurances and so on. So there are myriad challenges for employers who have to deal with employees in the workplace, especially when it is a high-risk workplace situation. You have to be extremely careful how you treat a person impacted by substance use. We have been, as you said, helping workplaces more and more develop the policies so that the language that is used in the policies is appropriate. So, for instance, we don't speak about addictions and so on, persons with addiction or drug addiction, a substance use disorder impacted by substance abuse. And so we try to change the language to make it more inclusive for the employer and to make the employee feel that there really is no shame in coming forward to say that this is a particular health challenge, this is what you're going through, and helping employers create that situation, that space in the workplace that can help employees that are directly impacted by substance abuse to seek help and to seek treatment. Those who are not impacted by substance abuse, what we do is we go in with our drug education, and our drug education is largely focused on prevention. And so we do the prevention sessions, and we help those employees, give them tools which will help them cope with situations which may lead to drug abuse, or for which the outcomes seem to be the easiest thing is, let me start using this substance to help me cope. And so we help both with prevention, and we also have a counseling service to assist those persons who unfortunately are impacted by drug abuse.
Indeed, and it's a wider societal concern as well that we all need to be able to address. I know at the launch service, we saw it on our news, where you address the church. Now, church, yes. I love that. You know, let's talk a little bit about all the actors within society who should really be a part of this effort, and what role would you want all of us to be able to play? Could you break it down for us, the mission of the National Council on Substance Abuse, to be able to address it in all of the segments of society?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is an area where we need a whole of nation approach. This is an area where we need a deliberate approach. This is not an area where I feel that drug abuse and how we treat to drug abuse as a society is tacked on to something else. We need to normalize our conversations. In the church, we're asking the churches to see how they can retool their message so it doesn't seem judgmental, so it doesn't prevent persons from coming in, from seeking help there. And churches are still a frontline community institution. So if a church is accessible, that is one thing, access to treatment, to help. So if the church is accessible, we're asking the church, first of all, to be a place where somebody can find solace first. The drug prevention, the drug treatment, the drug intervention, whatever it looks like, will come after. We're asking schools to let us in, and they have been very good with that. As a matter of fact, coming up next week, we have a session, not with the school teachers, not with the children. These are audiences we have been interfacing with, but we have a session for the auxiliary workers at schools because, quite often, it is the cleaner, it may be the gardener that can see something, that can alert a teacher or so to something. And so we hope that the response is good. We've already sent out our invitations. We want to really sensitize the auxiliary workers at schools and in and around, not only at schools, but in and around the community. As you're going to school, you're usually there first on morning. So what you see, what is different from yesterday? When you go in the afternoon to clean the bathrooms, what looks different? And so we'll be putting on that session next week. So that is schools, that is churches. In the community, we are challenging people to see, and this may be controversial, it is legal, but alcohol is also a drug. There's also a limit. To use alcohol responsibly. And I know there's a lot of conversation about whether any drug can be used responsibly, but yes, it can be used responsibly. And that is the other thing we're using the month to debunk a lot of the myths surrounding drug use. Drug use is a public health disease. If we don't treat to it as such, as much as we treat to it as we provide resources for the criminal justice system on the back end, we will find ourselves in challenges not too far down the road. And so it really is a whole of nation approach. We work closely with government agencies, with NGOs, and they in their own spheres, they really do assist and support what we do. So we tailor our message depending on who we are interacting with, where our interventions are, and what our interventions are supposed to look like. It is certainly not a one-size-fits-all.
Most definitely not indeed, and very well put indeed, because I could see the whole overall effort and how we can impact society at its widest reach as well. But you're now engaged in a food and give back program. Talk to us a little bit about that and how we can all be a part of it.
Well, this is something that is close to my heart, Pearson. Actually, it came directly out of the pandemic and those first days and weeks and months when there was a total lockdown. We found that we put systems in place, and so we continued our counseling and so online. But we also found that there was a need. Some of our clients were not able to access basic food items, basic toiletries in the way perhaps that others were. We know there's already a stigma to accessing help, but there's an added layer, as it were, if the challenge seems to be drug abuse, because there always seems to be that element of, well, using drugs, you can spend your money on something else, or so on and so on and so forth. And so we actually started with around 5 or 7 clients in 2020. And by last December, we actually gave out 41 hampers. And I have to say, these hampers initially were largely staff donations. When we were on the road, we found a couple of older people and so who were also in need. What I have to say is we do not do a strict means testing for what obvious reasons. We already know who we know. We already know who needs help based on who comes to us. And so we have tried, we have a couple of persons in the private sector who support us. But yes, we are launching a food drive at the Massey stores on the 28th. It's the last Saturday in this month. So we'll be at Old Town, we'll be at Warrens, we'll be at Worthing. And we're asking persons as they come in, we'll give them a little list of things that we'd like them just to add in an additional canned item, some food item, bring it and place it in our box, and then we'll go back and package them and we'll be on the road again. But I really want to use this opportunity to say thank you. We have a couple of people who have dug in their own pockets, because this is something that we have tried to do at the NCSA, from the NCSA and its staff, and people who work really closely with us. So we really do hope for nation support on Saturday the 28th at the Massey stores.
I do agree with you completely. I hope everyone does. It's next week Saturday, everybody. Today is the 20th, tomorrow is the 21st. So next week Saturday, Massey Old Town, Massey Warrens, and Massey Worthing. Those are the 3 supermarket spaces where representatives of the National Council on Substance Abuse will be. And they want to encourage as many of us as we go in to purchase something extra. The extra goes to supporting this food drive as well, because those who are struggling with the alcoholic conditions, whatever substance they are abusing, they often misjudge how they spend, and so they have a greater need that we can all as a society meet when we give to this effort. Last year, 41 hampers were distributed. This year, we're going for beyond that number, and we really don't want to have to put all the strain on the staff of the NCSA, so we can all do this, everybody. So next Saturday, the 28th of January at Massey Old Town, Massey Warrens, Massey Worthing, all 3 supermarket spaces. That's where each of us is encouraged to purchase and give to the National Council on Substance Abuse, all part of giving back to making our society whole, yet again through the efforts of the National Council on Substance Abuse. That too is our workspace, the society. And so it fits so beautifully into the theme that you have, our future, our workplace, our future as well. So we want everyone to join you in this effort, and I really hope that they do. We have to leave it there, Ms. Hunt, but it was such a wonderful opportunity to talk to you directly, to hear from you, the head of the National Council on Substance Abuse, the vision, the passion, the focus, the everything. And I want all of us really now to join hand in hand with you to assist our community be better through the efforts of the NCSA. Thank you to you and your team.
And thank you, Pearson and Mornin Barbados, for giving us these spaces the past couple of Fridays. And please feel free to have us back whenever.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much again.
You're very welcome indeed. Thank you very much. The National Council on Substance Abuse next week, Saturday, is the big food collection drive, and we want as many of you as possible to give as much as you can. Thank you so much for your support. We're taking a break right here. We're coming back with the news in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
2 minutes after 7 o'clock in the news now, the health crisis facing Barbados children must be addressed with a school nutrition policy to curb the level of obesity and other non-communicable diseases. The Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition believes it is now critical to take the policy from paper to full-blown practices in all schools. CBC News spoke with the chairperson of the coalition, Dr. Kia Lewis, about the matter.
One of the things that the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition is advocating for would be full implementation. We want to know that it is not only implemented, but it is well monitored and tracked, so that the necessary results from such a policy, that we are able to tell if we are seeing those, if we need to make changes, things like that.
Well, in order to help with the monitoring, the coalition is willing to help across the school system.
The Ministry of Education, I believe they would have a number of ways to track. But what we have done as HSFB Heart and Stroke Foundation Barbados is that we actually created and provided them with a tracking app. This app allows volunteers, these are persons who will be very specifically selected, to go into the schools and to monitor what is happening on the ground. Whether this is with the vendors on the outside, the canteen concessionaires, whether this is students selling to each other or teachers selling to students, just so we know how it is being implemented, how effective it is, and like I said, where we need to make changes and tweaks. I think that's a very important part of the implementation.
Dr. Lewis says she wants to make it clear that it is not the intention of our organization to put vendors out of work.
One of the first things that we have to make abundantly clear is that that was never our intention. The vendors and the canteen concessionaires, they have been at the center of the process all along. For a number of years now, we have offered a free vendors and canteen concessionaires workshop. In this workshop, we have had persons within the medical field, dietitians, nutritionists, doctors, various persons have come together to give the vendors and the canteen concessionaires information on how they can go about making the switch to healthier alternatives. Yeah? It has not been well attended, but for those who have attended, they have significantly benefited. We've gotten really good feedback. Some of them have implemented these changes, and the children have accepted a number of these changes. We've also been able to discuss with them where the difficulties are. And so this article doesn't necessarily surprise us, because we know that vendors have raised these concerns before. But because of the structure of the workshop, I believe we've been able to quell some of those fears and, like I said, lend assistance in that transition.
Barbadians have been assured that government remains committed to supporting tertiary education for all students at the KFIL campus. That's the message from Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley in her salute to the university on the launch of its 60th anniversary celebrations.
This government has committed itself to ensuring that our students can continue to access your benefits at the KFIL campus because we see that as that platform to their individual prosperity, to our national development, to Caribbean civilization, and ultimately to humanizing the globe in which we live.
Well, the focus for the UWI KFIL, according to the Prime Minister, needs to be creating a global citizen to help solve issues facing Barbados, the region, and beyond.
We live in a world now where what is required of us is going to be even greater partnership and collaboration to fight the battles of the world, not just the battles of Barbados or the Caribbean. And it therefore means that we need to produce our students to be able to truly be global citizens with Bajan or Caribbean roots, as we've explained, recognizing that it is only in partnership with others elsewhere in the world, in pursuit of scholarship, in pursuit of knowledge, in pursuit of a humanizing influence, in pursuit of being a disruptor to be able to do better that which we were doing before. It is only against that backdrop that the University of the West Indies will remain that vital body, especially with KFIL as one of the campuses.
Barbados has developed a marine spatial plan that is mindful of those using the space and the need to ensure it is protected for all. Wendy Burke reports.
The launch was done in collaboration with the Coastal Zone Management Unit, the Inter-American Development Bank and the Nature Conservancy. According to Minister Kerry Simmons, the treatment of the island's marine space will also be corrected in terms of how it was managed. He believes the process has to be consultative to ensure that the areas of marine space do not later down create issues.
There will be issues of access, concerns raised about access to those spaces. There will be issues of uncertainty with respect to access to those spaces. And worse yet, there will be conflict with respect to access to those areas. And we want to avoid all of those things. So I say this, and I am dedicating this to the members of the media who I want to be able to easily digest, and as I say, masticate on this issue. Because before we invite on ourselves unnecessary conflict, we have to make sure that we have an approach that allows for resolution.
The minister responsible for the blue economy, Adrian Ford, says the action plan for Barbados clearly highlights the opportunities of economic development for Barbados. He pointed out how it is being worked on.
Barbados Marine Spatial Plan will extend to the 200 nautical miles of our exclusive economic zone boundary. The government has established an MSP, which is the Marine Spatial Plan, steering committee that has been approved by our cabinet, as well as a comprehensive stakeholders advisory committee, of which many of you in attendance are a part of. There will be a Marine Spatial Plan project unit established whose responsibility will be to ensure the successful implementation of the project.
The IDB has played a major role in the activation of the project, and Viviana Alva Hart, country representative for the IDB Group Barbados, says oceans are a major part of the link between biodiversity and climate resilience.
Right now, human activities are undermining the ocean's biodiversity and climate mitigation benefits, which are crucial to solve the climate crisis. Making sure that the global biodiversity remains rich and brings benefits to everyone will require balancing current inequalities and strengthening the work being done by island states.
Another partner is the Nature Conservancy, and Executive Director of the Caribbean Division, Robert Brumball, explained their hopes and intentions for the Marine Spatial Plan.
This is why TNC was so proud to partner with Barbados and the Inter-American Development Bank on the Blue Bond that unlocks the resources to propel us forward for the next 5 years and beyond in the management and conservation work that is in front of us.
Several other partners will be part of the consultative process going forward. Wendy Burke,
We were able
CBC
to retain
News.
and maintain.
That's news for now. Morning Barbados continues in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Matchback Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for our new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
11 and a half after 7 o'clock. Now we turn our attention to Crochet for a Cause, Ridge to Reef. That's what it says. And so joining us to talk a little bit more about that and what you're trying to achieve is Nikisha Toppin. There she is. She's the founder of Elaine's Caribbean Crochet. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Thanks so much for having us on today.
You're very welcome indeed. When I read the phrase crochet for a cause, the first thing that comes to my mind is crochet for what cause? So for what cause?
Yes, indeed. Our cause is environmental awareness. We wanted to use crochet to bring persons to the awareness of how they can protect the environment. And we've done this through the creative project of using crochet as the art form, as a force for nature to help us know about how we can protect nature. And this is being facilitated under the Global Environment Facility, the Small Grants Program of the UNDP Community Empowerment and Environmental Partnership Program.
Now, some are going to say to themselves, I just don't get the connection between crocheting and environment. So how do you respond to that?
Definitely. We believe that crochet as an art form is so diverse that we can use it to promote any topic or global issue that we want to face or that we are trying to face in this world. So we have done land and sea replicas in the form of crochet to highlight how climate change has impacted the environment. We've created coral, anemone, we've also created fish, we've also created lettuce coral and turtles, as well as the promotion of the fact that 1.5 to stay alive is important for us to be able to know how we ourselves can work toward reducing the impacts of climate change. So we're so grateful to be able to bring together women who are passionate about crochet to help others to know how they too can use renewable energy, as well as the different ways that we can protect our beach environment in this time. These are the crocheters who would have come together over a 3-month time frame to ensure that we created these land and sea replicas so others can know about the environment through this art form.
Well, this is great because oftentimes you'll see it there and you'll think, oh, that's just a little wonderful stuffed toy for the children, but it's more than that. There's a message in it. And you're hoping that through our interaction with those pieces that we do ourselves become far more aware of our marine environment, or just broader our environment indeed, and how we can be a part of it. So you're using the skill of crochet. I see some young faces in those women who are there, so clearly it's catching on even at a younger age.
Yes, definitely. When we tell others about the project, they always say, I used to crochet when I was young, you know. And we want people to know that it's not just when you're young, it is definitely an opportunity you can take into your adult age. But we are very happy that the younger generation joined on to the program as well. And crochet is trending, whether it is in fashion or as a hobby that persons have taken up after the pandemic, but significantly able to use this project to help others to know about how they themselves can protect the environment that we are surrounded by. We only have one Earth, and we are so happy that the UNDP facilitated this program so that others can know not only about crochet in this time, but definitely that we can be the ones that are environmental champions in this time as well.
How do you come together as a group of women to do this crocheting? How, online, in person to person, how does it work?
So we definitely want to say thanks to Export Barbados for providing us with the location where we came together every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. within the months of November, December, and January to be able to complete this exhibit. And we also want to say thank you to the Barbados Youth Business Trust for partnering with us in implementing this project. So we've done the face-to-face implementation in both Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, bringing more than 30 women and girls together for the production of this exhibit.
So when is the exhibit and where is it, so that we can all come and engage with it as well?
Of course, we want you to come and all of Barbados. It is located at Norman Center, and it is being done from Monday the 23rd to Friday the 27th of January. The mall opens at 8:30 a.m. and we are ensuring to be open from that time as well, so that persons can come across in their lunch period, students can come right after school, and those who have finished working at 4:30 can still pop in before the 5 p.m. closure to be able to see our exhibits.
Folks, it's Norman Center from Monday to Friday next week. Monday to Friday next week. Norman Center from 8:30 in the morning till about 5 in the afternoon. That's where the exhibition will be, where you can see pieces of art, really, that tell a story of how from ridge to reef we are impacting our environment, and how crochet is part of that cause of raising awareness about our environment indeed. And so it's the ongoing work of Nikisha Toppin, who's the founder of Elaine's Caribbean Crochet. I like the name alone. And I really hope that as young people and older people come to interact with the exhibition as well, that they sign up to be a part of the next cohort of ladies who come together to crochet indeed. And this your business is called Elaine's Caribbean Crochet for a reason. Why?
Definitely. So my grandmother, Elaine, would have been the legacy of love that would have brought about the creation of Elaine's Caribbean Crochet. She would have taught me to crochet, and in that regard, it's been a legacy of love to her in creating this organization.
Well, you're doing very well. Well done to your grandmother. Well done to you and the team as well for continuing the work that you do. And thanks to the UNDP and all the other organizations who've partnered with you to get this done. Folks, the exhibition is from Monday to Friday next week in Norman Center. The doors open at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning till about 5 in the afternoon. You can come at any stage of the day. The team will be there to be able to interact with you in the pieces that look from ridge to roof at how we affect our environment. What are the things that are a part of our environment? What's the beauty in our environment that we take for granted? And all will be displayed in crochet. Let's see their creativity indeed. Nikisha Toppin, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Best of luck with this and your future endeavors.
Thank you very much for having us on today, and thank you to everyone who has participated in the project.
You're very welcome indeed. Thank you very much for joining us. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
20 minutes now after 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to Clean Up Barbados 2023. And why are we still doing this? At this stage, one would have thought that by now we'd have got it. Well, Abigail Sandiford is the project assistant. There she is with Clean Up Barbados 2023. Abigail, good morning to you. All right, we'll see obviously if we get Abigail's voice drifting through our airwaves. And just Abigail, good morning. Oh, Abigail, oh, Abigail. Oh, Abigail. All right, we'll see if we get her voice coming through to us in just a moment. We can see her. We need also to hear her. And so, Abigail, there you are. All right. All right, so let's see if we get that unmuted so that they can come through to us as we talk a little bit more about Clean Up Barbados 2023. It's an activity coming up in March. And so as it happens, they're going to talk to us a little bit about how we can all be a part of it and to engage with them and join in with them in making a difference to the community around us. We just talked a little bit about the beauty of our environment as crochet is part of the cause indeed. Let's see how now we as human beings can be a part of the cause. So Abigail Sandiford, good morning to you. All right, that I thought had been resolved, that I now know has not been resolved, and so we shall try to get it right as we connect with
yes.
these.
Can you hear me now?
Abigail, don't touch a thing. You'll leave it to us. We'll take care of it from here, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Don't touch a thing. All right. So, how are you doing this morning?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Now, you're part of a group called Clean Up Barbados 2023. Let's talk a little bit about what the group does.
Well, we all get together on event day. The event day we have right now is March 18th, a Saturday, and we just gather up some volunteers, some people who are willing to pitch out and go out there to different locations so that we can just pick up the thing and make our Barbados more beautiful.
Yeah, but you know, this is not the first time you're doing this. You've done this before. And so talk to me a little bit about the experience from the past and what did you find? What did you find about how clean we are, how dirty we are? What did you discover?
Yeah, well, last year we actually picked up around 38.9 tons of garbage all around to the different locations in total. We were very flabbergasted, I would say, because every year we do this and every year it seems to just be increasing. But I was telling Anne, who is our project coordinator, that the more we do it, it's never for a bad cause. That means there is 38.9 tons less now than there was last year, and we should just always keep at it for sure.
But we would want behavioral change. We would want that people become far greater aware about what is going on and that they change their habits as well. We're now joined by Amber Hoyt, who is also a project assistant. Amber, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Pearson, and good morning, Barbados.
Thank you for coming through. Let's talk a little bit about also with Clean Up Barbados 2023. What else are you doing to change behavior, to raise awareness of how we can make a difference?
Well, Clean Up Barbados 2023, we're trying to get as many persons to register as possible. This means we're going into schools, we're asking for community groups to come out, we're asking for churches, companies to come out and register. Everyone should feel responsible for our planet, our island, and that's the way we're going this year. We're trying to get everyone to participate.
Okay, so it's coming up in March. You talked a little bit about registration. So how can we register to be a part of it?
Okay, so registration is simple. As I said, you just need to get your group. Out of the group, we want to identify a group leader, and that group leader would be responsible for liaising with the Clean Up Barbados project team. They'll be responsible for managing their group on the day and, just making sure that everyone is registered. I want to underscore that participating with Clean Up Barbados is absolutely free. So it is something that everyone can participate in. You have the option, though, of purchasing our official t-shirt, and that's something that the group leader would also take charge of. And we also allow groups to choose their own location. So that means you can choose a location that has a special significance to you or one that is convenient. We leave a lot of it up to you, but we are there to facilitate and make sure that you have everything that you need to have a successful cleanup day.
Well, let's be clear. So you form a group, you choose a group leader. The group leader then contacts you. How does the group leader now goes forward with the registration?
So that's by visiting the website, futurecentertrust.org.
So the futurecentertrust.org. So you go to the website and you complete registration there. And in completion of registration is free. Am I right? And or is there a fee to registration?
Absolutely free.
Good. And once you've registered yourself and your group, then you can make the decision to purchase a shirt. And your shirt really just stamps the fact that you're part of this effort. You choose where you'd like to do your cleanup. You can do so. It could be just outside of your door, or it could be in an area in another parish if you want to do so. And while you're doing that, then you are also being a part of the cause. So Abigail, from your experience, have many work organizations, have they come forward as a team of people to really join the cause in cleaning up Barbados?
Well, in the past, we did have a lot of people, but Anne usually deals with all the teams and all the entities that form their groups, basically. I mostly contact the same entities, but for supplies, so donations like garbage bags, gloves, wheelbarrows, and such.
So how are you doing with that this year in terms of wanting donations of gloves and garbage bags and the like?
Well, the turnout this year is almost the same as last year. So from last year, I know who exactly is willing to participate, who participates every year. They contribute the same things every year. We have like Bright and Stokes, Marshall Trading, Cost You Less. Marshall Trading they hand over their wheelbarrows and rakes and shovels, and by the end of the day they come and they take them back. So it's not that you have to just give them to us for free. You just let them use they just let us use it for the day, and then they take them back and things like that. So it's been going really well, I would say.
I think from the pictures we're seeing here, we're seeing happy people doing things to benefit the nation indeed. And so all of us can do so, whether you're a church group, a workspace, and the staff from work, you as the individual, or just a community group, all of you can register. FutureCenterTrust.org, FutureCenterTrust.org, FutureCenterTrust.org is the website. The activity happens on the 18th of March this year. Registration requires you to have a group, to get your group together, select a leader, and that one individual then comes forward and make the registration on your behalf. And so we want to encourage as many of us as possible right now to begin thinking about it, organizing yourselves and get it done, because Barbados needs you. Last time they did this, it was over almost 90,000 tons of garbage that we have dumped into gullies and ravines and all the spaces, and we can do better. So get our registration up, get going, folks. Go to the website futurecentertrust.org. It's right there, /cleanup Barbados, and register to be a part of it, coming up on the 18th of March. Ladies, I want to thank you, Abigail Sandiford and Amber Hoyt, who are both project assistants with Clean Up Barbados 2023. And as the date draws near, I know we'll be sharing even more and reminding people as they get themselves planned and get together indeed. Thank you very much indeed. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. A break right here. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
7:30 in Barbados in the Eastern Caribbean this Friday morning. And today is going to be a great day because UWI is having from 2 o'clock this afternoon all of us on campus to really walk the walk across and around the campus. Indeed, it all ends around 5 o'clock with a big celebratory activity under the tent. You can't miss it indeed, but you get to experience the Whispering Wall. You get to see the Monument of Kwa. So much history right there today from 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the campus of the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill, all in celebration of the 60th anniversary indeed. And so it launches today. Much happening there on the campus from 2 this afternoon. It really is important that each of us, as many of us, we go and be a part of it. Also coming up on Sunday, there's going to be that big hike through the parish of St. Michael. It's part of their series of parish hikes, and it's going to be happening from the Botanical Gardens just about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You should be there to kick it off and get walking. Have on your comfortable shoes, but be prepared to go a little bit underground. I'm telling you, it's going to be fantastic. And as they do so, you get to learn a whole lot more about the things around you that you take for granted. So be a part of that hike also on Sunday from the Botanical Gardens through St. Michael and back to the Botanical Gardens. You park there, you take the hike, and you come right back there. So you don't have to be trying to figure out transportation after. It's going to be great. Starting this afternoon at the campus, continuing on Sunday at the Botanical Gardens and the hike through St. Michael. The next hike is next month in the parish of St. Lucy. So folks, we're heading to St. Lucie to hike with them as well. Happy to be joined now by a Barbadian who is residing in the UK, who is also doing some great work in the spaces in which he does. And so Sheldon Thomas, who's an inspirational speaker, founder and chief executive officer of Gangsign, joins me now. Sheldon, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's my pleasure having you indeed.
Correction though, I'm actually half Jamaican and British. Yeah, my wife is Bajan.
The wife is the big element.
My wife is she's the sister of the twins that you spoke to yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm married to a Bajan.
So you're getting some good Bajan food.
Yes, sometimes, but I try and force the way the Jamaican food, jerk chicken.
No. Ours is far better. I hope you know that by now.
Yeah, I do eat some sauce from time to time.
Good man.
Yes.
Good man indeed. So here it is. You actually provide a very important function in the UK as head of the Gangsign. What is that about?
Well, Gangsign was really started back in 2007 due to the high rise of gang violence amongst young black men in the UK. And we felt that as Christians as well, we felt that enough wasn't being done to reach out to them, not just from a Christian standpoint, but just from a kind of moral standpoint, in terms of giving them some sort of guidance. And the concept was for us to recruit young men like myself who were former gang members to go out to those kind of neighborhoods where the police won't go, to neighborhoods that are considered high crime, violent, drug dealing areas, to really engage them where they're at. And that was quite successful because it was the first of its kind. Gangsign was the first organization in Britain to introduce street kind of what you call evangelism, reaching out to those young men.
So you come from a place of experience.
Yes.
And so I want to talk a little bit about, I want to touch there for just a moment. I hope it's not too sensitive for you.
It's not too sensitive, no.
What is it about the gang life that first attracted you? And what is it about the gang life that made you want to get out of it?
Well, for me, mine goes back quite some time in the sense of during the 70s, a lot of young black men were under pressure from the system. We weren't treated with respect or dignity. We were abused verbally and physically by police officers. some would say racist police officers. The system of Britain is quite still, back then, was still stuck in colonialism or colonial ways. And so where they treated what they would call us immigrants, the way they treated us was really bad. And so what happened was many young black men resented that. You know, we would be walking on the streets and they would spit at us, they would call us all kinds of names, they would attack us and actually tell us to hit them so that they could arrest us. So some of us at that time, we would go home to our parents and tell them that this is what was happening to us. But many of our parents who grew up under colonial rule, and under colonial rule, they felt inferior to their colonial masters, which were the British at that time. And so many of us resented the way our parents sort of took the side of police officers and decided that we needed to defend ourselves. And unfortunately, the only thing we could think of was forming a gang to protect ourselves from police officers, and I became a gang leader because of that.
There are people who would say that's just a term to define a group of men, and a lot of our boys on the block will actually say that to you. We're not a gang, we're just fellas hanging out doing this or doing that. But it's the activity within that grouping, I think, that makes the big difference. So, but yours was coming together in response to the treatment.
It was a social response. But unfortunately, when you're vulnerable, because many of us young black men at that time didn't feel loved at home. I can speak for myself. I came from a background where I didn't feel wanted by my parents. I didn't feel loved by either of my parents. Now, I'm not blaming them, because I understand that growing up under colonial rule is very oppressive, and it actually made them grow up in a bad way, in a way where they weren't loved. So it's very difficult for parents who don't feel loved to give love. So I'm not totally blaming them, but it would have been nice if we understood that, and I didn't. So I think when you come from a place of lack of love, you then go out searching for what you think is love, but then you then end up with other young men who have similar backgrounds to you. And so for me, what made it was the fact that we lacked love in the family home. I know some people say that's an excuse, you should know better, but when you're a child, it's very difficult to actually make those kind of decisions about, okay, I'm not loved at home, but you don't know that, because as a child, it's impossible to understand that.
So what was it about your understanding? At what point did you say, you know, I'm done with that. This is no longer for me. I think I've served well. I now need to do something different. What happened?
Unfortunately, what became a social response to the negativity of the colonial masters became a criminal response. We then, a lot of us, got mixed up with the shower posse from Jamaica, or the Spranglers, or the Dunkirk Muslims. These are gangs that were long time established in the 70s and 80s under political divisions. So it had PNP had one set of gang, and the JLP had another set of gang. So it was very politically motivated in Jamaica, which then meant that a lot of young men from Jamaica and America were on the run from the kind of police forces of Jamaica and the DEA. And when they came to Britain, it was so easy for them to, I wouldn't say groom us, but it was so easy for them to persuade us to join with them, because they were anti-establishment, and the way they believed it was to sell drugs. So unfortunately, some of my friends got involved in drug dealing and they were murdered. So I would say about 9 of my friends were shot dead. And for me, my lesson was learnt the hard way. I was in a nightclub one day, and there's been several attempts on my life before that, not directly just to me, but when I'm in a crowd. And this last event really traumatized me. A couple of gunmen came into a nightclub, and I was from Brixton, and Brixton had a very bad reputation as the hardest area in England. And so they came into the nightclub and shot indiscriminately towards me, but the bullets missed and shot the guy next to me and blew his head off. And I think for me, it was the turning point, that when I saw his dead body on the floor with a hole in his head, it made me realize I'm not about this, because I actually wanted to just fight the police. I didn't really want to be a drug dealer or a bad man, but I became that because I moved from a social response to a criminal response. And so we were self-destructing, we were killing each other over drugs. So my turning point came when you know, that young man died, and I turned to a man called Bernie Grant, who was an MP at the time, and Diane Abbott, who then took me to America to meet Jesse Jackson.
Wow. And how was that meeting?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I learned a lot about being a black man. And I was deeply hurt and disturbed because I realized that I was messed up, that I allowed racism to dictate my life. I allowed the system to demonize me. And Jesse Jackson said something that really made me realize that you can make a decision that you can allow the system to crush you, and you walk around with hate, and you end up with nothing in your life. Or you can use that anger in the right way to become something. And I thought about it. It was very hard to realize, and he actually said to me, my biggest problem wasn't racism, was the fact that I didn't feel loved. And it was hurtful to know that because I didn't realize that was at the center of it. So he said my problem wasn't with the system, but with my dad, because he was saying that's where the problem is across the world in terms of young men.
That says a lot about failure by men in nurturing their young men as well. So how are you using Gangland to tackle that, to make a change, to show that, you know, you've yourself reformed as well?
Well, when I went to Jamaica, I realized that I was called, because when I came out of that incident and I met Jesse Jackson, I began to realize that I was called to go back to help these young men, but to be a father figure. And the only way to be a father figure, I had to recognize my weaknesses, I had to recognize my inadequacies, I had to recognize my faults, and not try to blame the whole world for my faults. That was very hard. That was so difficult to look inward at myself. It was really painful. But I had to learn it, because in order to help these young men, I had to show them that we can find a different way, and we don't need to fall into the trap of feeling demonized. But even though we don't have a father figure, even though we lack love in the family home, there is a way. And obviously, my belief is that the gospel is essential to that. Now, unfortunately, in Britain, it's very difficult to talk about Jesus Christ or talk about anything to do with being saved, or talk about anything to do with the Bible. Whereas in the Caribbean, I found it was so easy. Like, I was speaking to about 19 hardcore gang members in Spanish Town, which was the Klansman gang. They all had their guns, and for 2 hours, they were standing there listening to me. And I'm no expert on the Bible. I'm certainly no expert on the scriptures, but they were actually listening to me. And I realized for the first time that in the Caribbean, there is a way we can reach these guys. There is a way of going to them. And it's not about saying to them, Jesus loves you, but it's about showing them by turning up. And one of the gang members, his name was Zeeks. This was before he went to jail. He was the biggest gang leader at the time in Spanish Town. He said to me, they have never had somebody from outside of Jamaica come into Spanish Town and talk to them about anything. So it made me realize I'm on the right track, and that God is really truly asking me to go into these neighborhoods.
To give time. Sometimes that's all I want. Some time. Spend some time with me. And in spending time with me, you'll hear me. You'll get to know me. Time is such a critical factor. And so with Gangland, that's exactly what you're doing now. You're making that effort to make the change in the community in which you serve. Let's look at the Caribbean broadly for just a second, because the way you applied it in Jamaica, I think can be applied in any community across our region, because the need is so great right now. How do you see it being transferred into our own respective communities, and how effective do you think it really can be?
Well, I think, considering that I can't use the gospel in the way I'd like in Britain, I'm going to be honest with you, it's quite successful in Britain. And I think that one of the reasons why I think my reputation has now preceded me, in Britain in terms of reaching out, because I've been doing it for a long time. In terms of Barbados, I think that Barbados are slightly ahead of the game in the sense of the violence is not as high as Trinidad and Jamaica. At the moment, in 2019, your murder rate was about 49 murders, and maybe 60-70% was attributed to gangs. And the year before that, or the year after that, it was 42 murders. So your murder rate, even though it's quite high for a small population, isn't out of control. Whereas in Trinidad, Jamaica, Honduras, and those countries, it's out of control. So it's slightly different. So I think that one of the plans, well, one of my strategies is to come to Barbados and open up an office here and to look at different ways of how to partner with people in Barbados to help them. Because sometimes somebody from the outside looking into the Caribbean can bring a different perspective.
Absolutely.
And I feel that my expertise around the world now, because I kind of do gangs in America as well, and in the prisons, I think I could bring something different here that may not be already operating here. And plus, because of my wife's family and stuff like that, who are very influential, I feel that I can do a lot of work here because you don't have your problem out of control. What I would say, though, in terms of the Caribbean, we need more unity in the Caribbean. At the moment, the islands are all individual and they're fighting crime individually. I think if we came under one umbrella like CARICOM or something that unites the islands, where we develop strategies that can come right across, because if you look at some of the patterns, they're the same in every island. Absent fathers, lack of love, poverty, unemployment, they're the same. And so patterns of behavior can help us to define a better strategy that we can all use together.
Exciting times ahead. Exciting times ahead because you're part of it. That makes us all very, very happy indeed. You know, Sheldon, I could spend a whole day talking to you. It just sounds so fascinating. But I must say, your daughters are brilliant. They are brilliant, and I wanted you to tell them that for me, and to share it with your wife as well. I know they're a success, as you are too yourself, and you lead by example through what you do with Gangs Line, the success you're making there, and your desire to come make a success, giving back to our community in the Caribbean as well, is so heartwarming, and we're ever grateful for that. Thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for being a man who gives back to men, because we need that in our society today. It is one of those, and I'm stumbling across my words because I'm feeling it right now. You know, because oftentimes it is such a situation that is being redefined by women, and I'm not blaming women, but being redefined by women, and it's creating a problem. And you see a solution. I'm glad that you're part of the solution as well. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. I'm really happy that you had me today.
You're very welcome. Sheldon Thomas is his name. He's an inspirational speaker. He is a father. He's the leader of the Gangs Line, a successful organization, a successful response in the UK, and he can do it here for us as well. He's going to make that change. You better believe, oh, that sounds like Michael Jackson. Make the change, indeed. Sheldon, thank you so much. All the best to you, indeed. We're going to take a break here on Morning Barbados. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for a new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we're 9.5 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. I did promise you, and I shall deliver it now, an opportunity for you to unscramble some letters. It's a Friday. Let's get cracking, everybody. You know the numbers to call. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Take a look at your screen. Look now and figure this one out. Unscramble those letters and give me a call. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Let me know the word you can make when you take those letters, you set them in order and create a word. Let's see how clever you truly are. 228-5562 or 228-5563. I know you are clever, so call me now. 228-5562. 228-5563. What word can you see when you unscramble the letters right there before your very eyes? Create a word for me. Create a word for me. And call me and let me know. By the way, I'd like to also know what parish you're watching from. As is always, because we can talk one-on-one, give me your first name as well. So, sort this one out. Unscramble these letters. Unscramble the ones you see right there in front of you. And then give me a call. 228-5562 or 228-5563. This is a really good word. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm well, thank you. Who's calling?
Monica.
Hi, Monica. What parish are you watching from?
St. Michael.
Monica of St. Michael. Where exactly in St. Michael are you, Monica?
Black Rock.
What do they call you Monica, or they shorten your name and call you Mons?
Monica.
Mons?
Monica.
Only Monica?
Yes,
Make it sport. You need to stick around me. I would shorten your name in a second. All right,
My mom would
Mons.
call me Mom.
Well, Mom would call you who?
Mon.
Mon.
Yeah.
All right, Mon. All right, Mons. So talk to me. Tell me, what word do you see on your screen that you can make?
Dedication.
You're guessing this one, Mons. Come, talk to me straight now. What word can you make?
Dedication.
Monica, for real?
Yeah.
You don't you see dictation?
Dedication. I did not say dictation.
I asked you if you don't see dictation.
I see dedication.
Monica, you're absolutely right. Well done. Thank you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful weekend indeed. Monica's right. She's from St. Michael. Let's see. Can you... Oh, this one. Oh, dear. Look at that. Look at that. Can you sort this one out? Yes, I got it. So I got it. Can you? 228-5562 or 228-5563. What word can we make from this one now here? Look at it. Look at it. Lots of S's in there. Lots of consonants. Just 2 vowels. What can you do with that? What word can you make out of that jumbled up set of words, letters on your screen? 228-5562 or 228-5563 are the numbers to call to impress me with a word that you can find beneath all of those letters that are all scrambled up right now. So 228-5562 or 228-5563 are the numbers to call. Yeah, there are lots of things happening, right? I know. But you can sort this out. I know you can. I know you can. I know you can. Derek, what about you? Can you sort this one out? By the way, I met him just the other day. He came and introduced himself. Yes, and then I realized, oh, I know you. It was you? 228-5562, yeah. 228-5563. What word can we make out of these scrambled letters? Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Good morning. Who's calling?
This is Angela.
Hello, Angela. Angela. My friend Angela?
Yes, your friend Angela.
Good to hear you again, girl. So talk to me now. What word can you make from this?
I can see limitless.
That's what you can see, but I want to know what word you can make from it.
I'm making the word limitless.
Angela, you're absolutely right. So good to hear you. All the best, all right?
All the best to you too.
Thank you, Ange. Angela, so limitless was it indeed. Oh dear, look at, what word is this? What word is this? Da 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 da. Yeah, now this plot really thickens for me. I'm trying to sort it out myself. Can you help me here, folks? Tell me now quickly, what word can we make when we unscramble these letters, because has my head completely kerfuffled. So what can we make from this? Look at it. Look at it. Help me, please. Give me a call. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Now this is looking a little bit difficult for me. So you tell me. Later. And a few moments later, the call will come. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What word can we make from this one now? So far, we've had some winners. There was Monica. There was Angela. Will it be you? Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hi, how are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Wonderful. You're welcome. Who's calling?
Jean?
Jane?
Yes, please.
As
yes,
a J-A-N...
Yesterday.
Sorry?
You spoke to me yesterday. I called you yesterday.
Okay, Miss Jane.
Yes.
Yes, madam. What word do you see?
Possible.
That is impossible. What word do you see?
Possible.
I told you that was impossible. What word do you see? Tell me, Jane. Tell me, nah. What word do you see? Jane? Jane?
Yes, please.
What word do you see?
That's all I could see.
Well done, Jane. You're absolutely right. It is possible. I was trying to knock you off, but you stuck to it. Well done. I commend you on that. I ain't easy, girl, here. You're welcome. You're welcome indeed.
Okay,
she was really good.
Day.
You too have a wonderful weekend as well. Jane was good. She handled it well. We're going to take a break right here. When we come back, I need some things to tell you about, so stick around. We're coming back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So, what's happening today? By the way, tomorrow is Barrow Day. It's a public holiday here in Barbados as we celebrate and mark the milestones and the life and times of the right excellent Errol Walton Barrow national hero. So tomorrow is Barrow Day, a public holiday. Use your time wisely. Don't be friends of all, but just, anyway, how it goes, right? Satellite of none. So, this afternoon at 2 o'clock, indeed, we're going to be gathering on the grounds of the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill campus. The assembly point is right by the graduation tent. There's going to be a whole lot. We're unveiling of the portrait, the installation of historic sites, principal declaration, a whole host of things, and entertainment as well. Food and drinks will be on sale. Everyone is welcome to be a part of it. It's going to be quite a tour. You're going to be touring the compound of the university campus, and then you're ending with that entertainment. It's going to be great. As many of you as possible Alumni, you're invited. Barbados, you're also invited indeed to be a part as we celebrate with the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill, the 60th anniversary. Starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon, get there early to be a part of the tour. Enjoy the Whispering Wall, where you stand at one end, you whisper, and you hear it at the other end. Isn't that fantastic? It's going to be quite an experience indeed. So that's today. Then on Sunday, there's a hike happening at from the Botanical Gardens through St. Michael, parts of St. Michael. Part of it, according to Gerard, takes you underground, so dress accordingly. That's on Sunday, walking off from the Botanical Gardens. Get there early from 3. But you need to register. You need to register, pay your registration fee also at the bookshop on UE, the bookstore there at UE, the UE bookshop and the UE Center as well. So do go and be a part of those two big celebrations as the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill marks its 60th anniversary. Also, all week next week, starting from Monday right through to Friday, that's what's happening. Crochet for a Cause, Ridge to Reef is an exhibition. We want to encourage as many of you as possible to come learn about crochet and climate change. Monday to Friday next week at Norman Center on Broad Street at 8:30 to 5. 8:30 to 5, so all day, all times, you're going to be available to walk through, to be a part of it, to see what they've done, the ladies from Elaine's Caribbean Crochet. They've done some really great work in crochet, signaling their support of the climate and the different elements within our climate as well. And certainly we want to encourage as many of you as possible to be a part of that exhibition next week, starting Monday to Friday in Norman Center, 8:30 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. I'm stalling for just a moment because there's some information which I'm waiting to hear. We've been told just moments ago that there's been a 6.5 magnitude earthquake felt in Antigua. And as you know, Antigua just on the 18th would have had their general elections. We're trying to get more details to find out what's been affected, how people are affected, how it's been impacting on life in Antigua following the general elections. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake being felt in Antigua. We do know now that there's been no report so far of any damage to any property or life, and we're just trying to monitor what's been going on there. We don't have any confirmation of anything of that nature yet, but what we do know so far is that based upon interim reports that there has been no damage caused to property or no loss of life for the moment. But of course, it's one of those situations that will continue to unfold, and as details flow in, we will flow them to you as well. But a 6.5 magnitude earthquake this morning has impacted Antigua and Barbuda. Just the other day, the 18th of January, they would have completed their general elections with the Prime Minister Gaston Brown being returned to prime ministership with 9 of the 17 seats. The opposition United People Party, they're retaining 5, and a couple more, one to Michael Assot, an independent, and the other to the island of Barbuda. So we're hearing of that magnitude 6.5 earthquake in Antigua and Barbuda, and we are waiting to hear more details. As soon as we know more, we will share them with you in subsequent newscasts, or we will break into regular programming to keep you up to date as to what's happening there with our sisters and brothers in Antigua, to the north of us in the Caribbean. Antigua and Barbuda this morning, we've just been told, being impacted by a 6.5 magnitude, though that's massive, a 6.5 magnitude earthquake right there in the Twin Island, Antigua and Barbuda. And our prayers and thoughts are with them at this time. So far, no reports, all unconfirmed, no reports of damage or loss of life or in any way anyone being severely impacted, but the details will flow, and when they flow to us, we'll flow them to you. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Our crew says thank you. We wish you a wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you again on Monday, if it be God's will. Take care and bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.